I'm Joe.
And this is
Combat
Creations. All right. We are missing Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Jeff is at home.
Where are you?
Slowly mutating into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And we wish him well. His special power will be to call Bob Iger and make all sorts of deals on Combat Creations' behalf.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
right. That's exactly where we're going with this.
All right.
He could do something useful, but no, he has to be useful to me. That's really what this is all about.
All right.
All right. So today on the show, we've got a little further. Last time we were building some hinges. At this point, the hinges got attached to some twirly bits and a little bit of lower leg or upper leg attached to them and onto the frame. In the front, we've made it just a little bit narrower just because my legs are a little bit in. And then we put them at the corners of the middle, in the back corners. And
we got a lame, was it ogre troll thing?
that's right. We got a stumpy leg. Yes, we do, because the hinge is somewhere still in my house. But that's okay, because we can keep going with what we're doing, and that leg can catch up. It's a six-legged thing. If it goes to 5 legs, it's all right. It's like a spare. Well, the downside is that we can no longer go 55 miles an hour with this. We have to slow it down.
35 at the max.
Or we need a big, like, foam donut. We just switch for a wheel. What's that? It's the donut. My horse's leg went out.
At least it won't be put in for glue. That'll be fine. Oop.
That's right. All right. So, here's the goal for today. We're going to hopefully make it so that moving one of these front legs moves other legs. That's the plan. How do we go about that plan? Well, we're going to hope this works. So what we need in order to have one to the other is to be able to puppet it. We need for it to be able to fairly rigid and will move along. And so what we've got is the PVC.
Yep.
The idea is that we'll flatten the ends here with a little bit of heat, poke a hole through it, and then attach it up. And the way we're going to attach it, we've got some little round eyelet screws that we're going to put in here. And then we've got some little connectors. The connector will go into the PVC and then latch through the eyelet screw, which should get it to loose enough to be able to not be too tight and still be able to move, but also give it the same functionality that we want. And the neat thing is that using these little links, we'll be able to take it apart without legs sticking up in the air to fit in my tiny little car and drive somewhere.
And make it look like it's dead everywhere. You know, it's gone
right,
belly up.
But all right, so to get started, first we need to heat up some PVC ends.
Okay.
One of the neat things, start cranking on it in there. One of the neat things about PVC, look, we're doing it right behind a leg instead of in front, is that you can heat that sucker up and shape it a little bit.
Ooh, it's starting to bow out and everything.
And then let it cool down. It will retain whatever shape you shape it in. This does slightly produce some fumes. People that are worried about it, put some masks on. It would be remiss of me to tell you not to wear a mask. It's probably not the best of us to not wear masks, but it's all right. It's not going to damage my brain cells any more than current. And to flatten this out, you can just use any old thing. We've got some tools.
Should we try it now?
Give it a shot. Give it a shot. See where we are.
Okay.
We'll want to do it on the end mostly, so we can.
Yeah. Nom nom nom.
And then we just gotta hold it closed a sec while it. All right. So if we hold it, we let it cool, and while this is cooling, it's gonna hold in shape there. I'm just about off my way. All right. I feel Joe on the other end of this.
Oh, that's a bad.
We're using a tool here. You can use all sorts of things. I've seen people just use blocks of wood, various things like that. As long as something that can take the heat. It's not a huge amount of heat.
This
We're
gets
just using
hot
a heat
really
gun.
quickly.
It does get hot. It's going to be hot to the touch. It's not really going to burn anything, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah.
At the point, well,
That's close. More?
well, we'll give it a try and see what we got. If we need to do more, we'll do more. All right, now here's the trick. We've got a flat end and a not flat end. While we heat this up, when it's time to squish it, we want to squish it on the same plane, roughly. It doesn't have to be exact, but we don't want to, switch it 90 degrees or anything, because that will make things not work out like we're aiming for.
The sound.
On the heat guns. So, outside of the studio, we're in Texas, and it may be October, but normally to heat this pipe up, we'd go stand outside for a minute.
Yep.
Okay, it's not really that hot out there, but folks that do props involving PVC have been known to have them misshapen in their cars on a Texas spring, summer, fall day.
Oh, you mean talk about summer too?
Yeah, but I mean, for those outside of Texas, we do get other seasons. We have our required week of winter.
Yep.
We don't necessarily have it all in 1 week, but we do have it.
We did have the
Temperatures get down into the double digits, and
what is it? Last year we had like 1 day of winter, maybe 2, where it actually
don't let people know we haven't hit our quota. I live in this state for a reason. Now here we're just doing the ends. And it's thicker PVC, so it's a little harder to see that it's hot enough. On thinner PVC or longer, you'll start to see one side kind of bow down and shape, and that's when you know that we can give it just a little bit of a test and see if
I think we're good.
we're good there. All right, this is the flat. That's the flat. All right. Pac-Man.
Oh, I didn't even check. I'm glad you.
I twisted it.
Good.
I saw you were focused, so I twisted it and double checked.
And I love the fact that I thought about it after I started. And I was like, oh wait.
See, if something like that would happen and we were completely off, what you do to fix it is heat the pipe
heat it up
again.
again.
It goes back to round, and then you can cut it again. I've heard of folks actually taking the PVC and cutting a slice and then heating it up to flatten it out and then have large sheets of plastic to use for things. I haven't done that yet. It sounds kind of neat.
I've done it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it real useful?
It's decently useful. It takes a lot more time than just getting a flat piece of plastic, though.
Well, but it's cheap.
It is cheap.
It's so cheap.
No, I think the coolest thing I've seen so far is someone using doing the bin plastic is bows.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
These are, I just picked them up because they were short lengths and about the right size. Mm-hmm. There is the possibility one might have to get trimmed and reflattened. Oops.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time.
All right, how are we looking down there?
We're doing pretty good, actually. We're tiny.
Retaining?
It's retaining.
All right.
It's still a little bit warm.
Here, well, I'm going to set that down, and I'm going to try popping a couple of these things out.
So we're going to attach these to that.
To the pipe.
Okay.
Right, so we want a hole. These are, let's say 1/8 inch. I assume that's 1/8 inch thick.
Okay. Luckily, I have a whole bunch of drill bits behind us. Let me see if we'll find those. I'm walking off camera.
I probably have totally the wrong drill bit with us. That's how this show works.
It's probably...
Twist, 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 twist.
You know what's funny is I actually injure myself more often on the drill bits getting them out than actually using them.
Hey, guess what? The hole that these open doesn't fit what we've got.
I'll make it fit.
I wonder if there's an easy way to trim off one side of the PVC.
Is he?
Yeah.
What you can do is reheat this and
Squash it even more?
squash it even more.
You think it's going to get squashed enough?
Maybe.
That's just one way to find out.
Yes.
All right. I'm not going to spin it around. I'm just going to just go crazy on the end here.
Ah.
I'll spin around a little bit. I'm charring it.
Charring it.
Ooh, it's
Oh.
actually starting to kind of come together already.
What?
Yeah.
There we go. Just like that. Really hold it down.
All right. Maybe I can hit a little more while you're doing that. This is probably completely unnecessary and not helpful, but that's helpful. Gotta get a.
Oh, it's
glow
actually
on it.
really how I usually do this, especially if you're going to try to make sheets out of this, is I take water and a really cold water bath and with
Yeah,
a rag
just
and,
dunk it?
and just get it flat and just wipe it down immediately and and then just dunk it.
You know, I've got a little burr tool. If we pop the
Ooh.
hole all the way through and then burr one side, we should be able to tear away enough plastic to do what
Yeah.
we want to do. When all else fails, do something crazy and harmful. See, I was saying the other day that half of costuming is engineering and the other half is using enough pseudoscience until physics gives up on you and lets you do what you want.
I call that magic.
Are you going forward?
Yes.
That's an impressive pipe.
It's just thick. That's all it is. All right, so you got that burr tool.
Yeah.
We try this first. Oh, it's almost there. Almost. Yeah, burr tool.
All right. Oh, you want it on your
Oh,
drill.
no, you can use it. No, you already set it up. I'm not gonna deny you.
I'm gonna come over here where I have something to catch all of the
I'm alone.
plastic.
I'm alone in here. Help. No, it's kidding. Oh, man. So you got one of those already set up over here. You're in there. So that gets at both ends right there. And then... Oh,
All right, give that a shot and see.
All right.
Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to start figuring out where these little hook and eyes or screw eyes go in.
look at that. A little bit of force. Some luck.
Will it loop around so that...
It will. With a little bit of force. And
All right. So the legs, we've set it up so the flat is where my leg will be. So it'll do this sort of thing.
look at that.
Oh, yeah. It also gives us enough space in the back here. I'm going to turn totally where you can't see. I'm hiding behind a leg.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
What I'm doing is I'm putting just a pilot hole in where I want to put this little screw eye thing.
I'm warm with destiny. Oh, sorry.
We should do the other, the other
yeah,
before we hook it onto something.
Yeah, I was thinking about that just the other day. Wait.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna make this
I
easier.
should say that, be safe. Don't drill into your own hand.
Don't drill into somebody else's hand
Yeah,
either.
don't drill into somebody else's head. Let someone knows. But I'm going to get back at this now.
Yeah. Super easy way to put these little screw eyes in. Vice strips, long end. Now I've got a handle. I got a handle on the situation, Joe.
Well, I drilled through it. It's drilled. All right, so do you still have the burr thing over there?
Yeah.
I'll grab that since you already taken it out.
That's right. All right, I've got a hook that will be the back of this leg, and then I've got to put it into the front, put one in the front of that leg.
Where did you get this burr thing?
From my pile of tools. A long, long time ago, I was gifted a pile of tools. Sometimes I look at them and say, hey, there's a new one I've never used before.
Oh, I'll go over where you were.
Oh, I see. Like, I'm on that side of the table. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pre-prep the next one by hooking it into the back of this leg. Power tools are fun.
All right.
I want to see.
I'm just glad I brought the other
I want to
gun.
see Norm Abrams build this. All right, today we're gonna set our centaur legs together, and I happen to have a leg setting jig. It's a one of a kind.
He would totally absolutely have a leg setting jig.
If anybody has a leg setting, a centaur leg setting jig, it's Norm Abrams. Cause gosh darn it, he's got everything else. Where are we going with this?
We're gonna.
You got the.
Yeah, but it's not enough, and I think I can get it back down.
Do we need to heat it some more?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. We'll heat it some more, and then I'll start heating this one.
Okay. Oh, that's one.
It's like it's a heat gun.
I didn't think it was a freeze gun. Yeah.
Alan Hops, if you're watching, yeah, we're testing it with our hands, just like you said not to do.
Well, it's like listening to food. You know, why do you listen to food to know how it tastes? I've seen people do that.
I listen to food to hear it scream, especially the broccoli. Nothing screams like broccoli. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. I mean, I haven't met anything that sounds like broccoli, except for broccoli. You know what? It suddenly occurs to me while I'm doing this loud air thing near my mic that people might not be able to hear me very well when I have the air thing next to me.
No, that's not my problem. No, I'm kidding.
That's okay, folks. I'm on this side. We'll project in stereo. You can hear me on the other side. It's totally how that works, right?
Almost. We're almost there.
All right. This will work. All right, I'm about to do the scrunchy thing on this one.
Uh-oh. It's almost like I know what you were doing. Almost.
Scrunch.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, that one went on a lot better than the other one.
Excellent. All right. So now comes the try. Is this crazy thing gonna actually
Now the real question
work?
is, why did we just make a nunchuck a broken nunchuck?
Wah, wah, wah. All right. Yeah, it's long. We're gonna have to trim the next one down.
Aww. Well, I can always trim this down. It probably actually needs to. Probably needs to be probably about there.
All right. That is our
Marker.
test. Our scientific method for testing that.
It's called trial and error. We tried it, we erred, and now we're going to fix it.
All right.
Trial and error.
So this one's got nice and squishy. Now, when we do that, let me go ahead and mark this one.
Cool.
Before heating it up and crunching it. And now we'll use the hacksaw and make these a little bit shorter. They were really nice. It was like $1.60 a pipe or something that already came in almost the right size. I mean, maybe it would have been a similar price for a giant pipe and cut it down, but convenience.
I remember them taking a lot longer last time.
You know, this, the table is shaking. The whole table's gonna fall over. It's when you know you've had Robin on your show. That's right, Robin!
I'm scared now.
Robin took out the table. I'm flattening this one if you cut that one or mark it on the others. Oh, I see, you're taking the thing apart.
I'm reclaiming. I don't think we need to waste anything.
Reclaiming!
Again, very warm. There you go. Cutting that.
We will make this thing work. Tonight even.
Maybe. Yes. All right. No, but I'm serious. I thought that they took a lot longer last time to cut these PVC pipes, and I'm wondering how they...
It was Jeff. He was messing around. He was drawing on the... Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff and B. I'm so happy to be a part of this season.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that you're here because
You'd be kind of
with
lonely
some of the
without
stuff,
Jeff today.
Yeah, with some of the stuff that you've built, it's definitely a good direction to go.
Yeah. And we'll do the same thing on this side.
And when I scrunch this, since we were needing to get it a little bit extra, I'm just trying to give it some extra
Power.
squish. I don't know that it's really going to squish the plastic too much, if it's really going to do a whole lot for me, but I might as well try.
Gotta give it the power.
That's
power.
right.
Okay.
You gotta give it something.
It's like
Or
you have
give
to
it a lot of squish.
again. You have to give it some magics.
It's the most exciting episode. What'd you do? We squashed plastic.
We heated up,
But
squashed
that's okay. If you're watching and saying, man, I really want to get to the good part, the good part's coming.
We hope.
The good part's coming.
Okay.
All right. Here.
All right.
I'll take that. If you want to pop a hole. Yeah, I got it.
Pop a hole in that.
Yeah.
Pop a hole in that.
If you want to get that one going.
All right. So have you seen any good things lately?
Things I have seen. I've been doing lots of casting lately. When I should be, you know, putting this together between shows.
So we'll try it out.
While you got that bit, do you want to
Oh yeah.
hit me?
No.
Hey now. Can you, or do you want to wait?
Can if you want. It's just a little bit awkward.
This whole show is awkward. There we go. Remember, if brute force isn't working, you're not using enough.
You get someone that will use brute force. Usually a guy named Brutus.
There you go. Now, in the end, if our tips get in the way, bumping around and stuff, we can actually trim off the edges of the PVC and everything will be just fine. We're not going to lose any structural integrity with doing that. I don't think we're necessary too much, but we'll see. Hey, with as much as I squashed that, is it even...
Yes, I tried.
Oh, okay. Well, extra squashing didn't work. Part of me says maybe I should have got some of these that were just a little bit bigger. But I don't like listening to that part. They must be wrong.
Yeah, well, that part's usually the one that says drive safely, and you know, make
Drive
sure make
safely.
sure you rinse, shower, and repeat.
All right. I'll get some more of these unpackaged. Have them ready here.
Almost. Do 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 do.
When we're burring this, or we're brushing it in, it's just enough on the edge to be able to hook the end of the little deal over.
I don't know if this camera will see it or not. It's
Oh, good.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
It fit.
Just like that.
Beautiful. All right. Now we can do the big test.
All right, there you go.
I just opened it. Yeah, we can
Oh,
leave it
you-
open. Well, we're gonna hook it on something.
Oh,
it helps if
I'm
it's
silly.
it helps if it's open.
I'm silly.
That's all right.
All right, so do you want me to do these now? Or?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right.
All right. There's one side attached.
Oh,
There's another side attached. Almost attached. Even though this is just a test, I'm still closing these up because otherwise they'll just slip out and fall. All right.
wow.
Oh, we need gravity on our side to pull it back the other way. Gravity. Gravity's a problem.
It's almost like a law or something.
All right, so it's not stiff enough the way we've connected everything together.
So what I was actually thinking you could do, especially if you're going to keep these types of legs together, is you would sorry, make sure these were technically straight.
Yeah? What you got?
Is you would actually put in almost spring banding, like at these joints
Yeah.
here, and still do the whole joint thing.
But
and they
that's
still
if it moves sideways, that's gonna mess with that, right?
well, if you put them like directly like middle, no, because they're only attached right here.
See, originally, my thought was that the PVC would attach directly to those eyelets. I'm wondering just how much this deal is
Yeah, 'cause it's
messing with it. Try
because-
this with that second flat one. Go ahead and pop holes in it. Let me take this off and see if I can open these up.
Okay, yeah, we actually I think I saw another like
Pliers.
pliers down in the blue bucket over there, the boo bucket. That's a good idea. 'Cause
What? Go with the original plan?
well, I also think you actually made another joint with that particular eyelet.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I'll turn sideways so we can actually see. So this is just a loop of metal, and so what I can do is I can attempt to open it up just a little bit as if I was making chainmail rings. Ooh, that's
Hard.
yeah, but that's okay. That's what I was expecting. Ugh, which is kind of why I went the other direction. All right, so let's see if we can put some pipe into that and close it back up. So basically, I just twisted it open. So if you have the whole ring, I just kind of open it a little bit like that. So we'll pop the PVC in, try and close it. That won't make it easily take apartable, but it should solidify up the joint enough to make it do what we want it to do. That's what I get for second guessing myself. Stay there, leg. Stay. I don't. This is open further, I think.
Yeah, it's good. I was about to ask about that, but
Well, yeah,
we
got him.
I'm overdoing. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We were overdoing, and all of a sudden we had wiggly joints. Wiggly joints.
All right.
All right.
Aha.
Let's see how difficult it's going to be. All right. That attaches in easily enough.
Let's see if I can do this the same way.
Wow, that worked.
More.
More. All right.
More.
Well, no, it's just it's got to go in at a bit of an angle here, and now we don't have the angle. We have to do weird dancey things in order. Yeah, let's open it up just a little bit more. Right. Enough dancing already.
Get on with it.
All right.
That's almost a 90.
Let's see. Almost. There we go. Hey, you know what? We cut it down a little short.
Whoops.
That's all right. Let's see how well this works. So that. No, it's still, well, it's a little better.
It's a little better, but not as good as you would want.
The joints. We got the joints working, but they're nice and wiggly. All right, all right, all right. See, I kind of, well, it may very well be that gravity does what it needs to do in the end, but I hate to go all that direction on hope.
Yeah, without testing it.
I
I would go with this design, and again.
So, all right. So, can we move stuff and maybe try flipping it over?
Yeah, it's kind of what I was about to say. It's like, why don't we?
All right.
All right, I'm playing, and I don't need to be playing. I'm sorry.
It's all right. This whole show is playing.
Oh.
Sorry.
You're kicking me here. Oh.
Hey, that epoxy didn't work out so well. All right. So. Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. Not quite what I was after. It's also, I think, being shorter may have messed with us.
Yeah, but again, and I'm only really supporting it just to keep it from tipping this direction because it's missing a leg.
Yeah.
It's almost supporting itself.
Which is a real good sign because we wanted that.
Yeah. So we adjust these things again. You leave it like this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the little D-ring things. Those are junk.
Yeah.
They're not junk.
Yep.
But yeah.
So we need this. We need it slightly longer. And I also think that some of our here. Let's flip it back over.
It's like a patient. Paging Dr. Goofy.
Like, I really think that our hinges. Some of these are just real loose, and that's just because they're, so they just need like an extra screw in there to hold things down. And I think that if that tightens up.
Yeah, it's definitely a little too loosey-goosey. I think. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that we keep with the original design. We tighten up all these little things that are making it really loose around so it's a little bit more stiff. And it's going to feel like you're going to break it because it's kind of stiff because you're going to hear it creak and stuff.
But that's going to be okay for the end goal.
That's going to be okay for the end goal because it's kind of what you need the stiffness for. With gravity, since we're working upside down, we're actually working against the thing that we need to make it work correctly.
Yeah.
Is that it needs to be gravity-wise, it needs to be on the ground walking to have it work correctly.
And these that got epoxy down, I was really impressed with the epoxy, but in the end, I think that they all need to get completely screwed in and not epoxied.
Yeah.
It was a good try.
Yeah.
I was told not to use that epoxy, and I did it anyway.
Yeah, it's still tacky.
You're tacky.
Yeah, yeah. It's all good, though.
All right. So let's, to test with this, let's try making a slightly longer one of these.
Yeah. Well, let's go with the original size and see what that looks like.
Yeah. Let me pop that one off and open this up. Where are my vice grips?
I think they're on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way too loose. Like you can already see it coming out because we're spinning it around and it's slowly getting out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to counter. Come on. Spin around.
All right.
Yeah. One more.
Now we're moving this.
Hold up.
I got it. I'm just trying to get the vice grips have to be super tight to really get it to move where it needs to move. And obviously that's not quite enough.
Do you need the needles?
No, I just
So close.
so close. Do we have that one flat?
No, we don't have it flattened.
Oh yeah, we gotta measure it out.
I'd like to see what it looks like. Yeah, we can always start doing the flattening process. Harmonizing with the heat gun. Sounds like a really interesting metal band, harmonizing with the heat gun.
You'd think that, except that you get there and it's some sort of indie.
Well, when you said metal, I thought you meant where they played. What?
All right, that one's off. Now I thought when I picked these little eyelets up, thought maybe I should get some hooks for our testing. I thought, nah, I don't want to bother with hooks because it'll just fall off. And yet, what I really want are some hooks.
Yes, epoxy.
Oh, that one.
Leg down.
To heck with epoxy. I ignored the warnings. I tried it out anyway. Everything seemed wonderful until it comes to the show and all the epoxy falls off.
Yep.
To heck with epoxy.
I have a story about that for cosplay.
So here, now, that said, I thought that we would definitely need that in order to be able to swivel these joints. I'm wondering, since we need it tightened up anyway, and we have the forward, backward, and side to side, they're not going to swivel a huge amount because of the sideways connection. I'm wondering if I should just ditch them completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I needed them. But the more that we do this, not just because they're falling off, but the more that we do this and look at how the actual motion is,
I don't think you need them.
I don't think we need them.
Because you're already getting most of your hip thing without them, just because the way they're designed, how big they are.
Right, right. think I'll take those off later.
I'll see, but not. But now.
Oh, I almost wasn't ready because I was playing around with nom 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 nom. All right, so let's look at if this is there. So we'll trim a tiny bit. Marker's over here.
It's almost like I need a marker. So right about there, I think.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
You want to wait for me to finish before cutting, yeah?
Yes, because you're not going to be able to hold it.
You don't know? You don't know me?
Or I could start now. Start the operation now.
Give it a shot.
We got to go
this.
find Jeff.
I got this side held. You want to try?
Oh,
Give it a shot.
all right.
I mean, the worst thing is we have to stop and wait a minute.
Probably not have the heat gun underneath it.
Yeah.
Underneath where I'm cutting.
Don't hacksaw towards the plugged-in cables.
Long, deliberate strokes.
Whoa now.
I have a cosplay fail thing it came with epoxy, and why I don't trust epoxy anymore either. I was doing armoring for Dynasty Warriors.
All right, heat gun it.
Yes. Should be cool enough by now. Yeah, it was, we epoxied sabotons to the top of these boots,
Yeah.
and we were very, very proud of it because we're like, we didn't have to rivet them, we didn't have to go through all that to actually, because of pre-existing boot,
Yeah.
and we're all very, very happy. Oh, they came up literally 20 minutes, 30 minutes right before we had to be on stage. They failed completely. I had to duct tape them on surreptitiously. So no one noticed. Nobody noticed.
Yeah, but that does bring up an interesting point. When you're building some sort of a costume, whether it's something crazy like this or something less crazy, there is the possibility that some things will fail.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's important to note, think of how things will fail and test those fail points. Like, we're testing it, turning it over and stuff long before we ever like have someone on it. And we'll do all sorts of testing there. We're looking at what could fail and deciding what to tweak and
I like to
correct.
call it inviting Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to invite Murphy over to see what he can mess up for us, you know, crush our dreams, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. Narm. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good pinch. That's a really good pinch.
Well, see, right back here, apparently it's not warm enough, so it kind of dented in. But hey, it works.
Whatever works. Whatever's clever.
All right.
All right, so we'll swap out the deburr bit.
Deburr, like Aaron Burr. But not so much.
And then there
History
was,
jokes, folks.
and then we had
It's just
leather.
as dumb as it sounds.
We had leather accent pieces. Things that we thought the epoxy is what it was meant for.
Yeah.
And so we followed the directions completely correct. And we literally just put a little bit of epoxy on top, with underneath leather on top of metal. And that came off.
Huh.
You know what I used to correct that issue?
Duct tape.
No. Luckily, that was not before a show. We actually used contact cement.
Okay.
That worked far better than the 5-minute epoxy. And it's just like...
I tried some contact cement, and it was so hard to see. No, not really. That was.
Oh, you got
that was stupid.
you got a snortle out of me. That's good.
That was stupid. All right.
Yeah, but I like
We
those.
got a flat end and a super flat end.
I like those dad jokes. They're funny.
All right, let's pop some holes in those ends.
It's like the PVC knows I'm coming for it now.
Yeah, it's preparing. It saw what happened to the first pipe. All right. So let's give it a try. And,
Ooh, it's like I'm working.
We'll try not closing it this time, just for, actually, let's flip it over so that that end gets in there.
What do you need me?
I don't know, I can't see it. I have no idea. It just needs to get twisted on a little. Come on, twist! Twist! Oh, wait, I can see it. I can see
Twist
it.
and
We're
shake.
almost there.
Twist and shake.
Except I've totally undid the first one. That's okay. Maybe that's for the best. All right. So got that one. Back to
Reality.
making this one work. Almost. There we go. Okay. Let go.
I don't think you need the, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think you need these little lazy Susans.
We do need gravity.
We do need gravity.
Because without gravity, this isn't going to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, but I think that if these lazy Susans weren't doing this motion, I think it would absolutely do what you're wanting it to do.
Perfect. Now here's the second part of our engineering feat that we'll have to correct the first part before we get to the second part, where we have to think about it.
Okay.
Is that if we've got this leg here with this pipe here, and we've got this leg here. Oh, did that whole mess up my thing? All right, we got this leg here with another pipe here. We don't want the pipes to hit the pipes.
True.
So what we'll have to think about is, as this one comes up, you know, we could figure out our engineering problem here. I don't want all the danglies. I don't like you danglies. So this will have to come down a little bit, right?
Yes.
Obviously more than that in order to bump. So the nice thing is that one leg or the other will be on the ground at any given point.
Yes.
And this one should never have to worry about it, but this one probably will have to go on the high side in order to get where we need to go. So it looks like maybe the halfway mark, maybe just above the halfway mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you wanted the angle of travel. Sorry, Light.
Be free, PVC!
Sorry, Light. We liked you.
All right.
All right.
So, we are not where we want to be. But that's okay. In 2 weeks, we'll be where we want to be. So let's see. Between now and then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ditch the Lazy Susans, which is even better that they were so cheap, because we're just going to get rid of them. I'm sure I'll use them for something else, though. So we're going to ditch the Lazy Susan, put all the legs down, put a second screw inside each of these to tighten that part up, or inside the hingey bits where the PVC of the hingey bit attaches to the upper portion on all of them. Even if they look like they're doing good now, we're not going to let them stay that way.
Actually, it's this way.
Yeah, no. You were right. You were right. This one, because we want the most motion on being able to pull my leg up, and less motion to be able to pull it to the side.
I mean, you still got. I mean, you got another leg, part of the lower leg at this point, so you still got your hip motion here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. You're. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
We're on the right path.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
over-engineered, and now we gotta un-over-engineer.
Yep. Murphy's
We
telling us
gotta
something.
under-engineer what we over-engineered.
All right. Cool.
So.
Sorry. I literally had to see like. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. real
You're
quick.
fine. So between here and the next show,
Yeah.
all the Lazy Susan hardware's got to go. All of the hinges proper have to get additional screws for the PVC joint. I still like the PVC joint personally.
Okay.
I think that it's
Yeah.
still smooth enough, but they all need additional security screws and maybe some wood glue in there or something like that.
JB Weld.
JB Weld. In order to give it some additional, but the JB Weld alone,
No,
we definitely want multiple screws and JB Weld in order to tighten those up.
So you want multiple points of failure.
They're all on the same point. They got to work together to fail together.
Well, you know,
Costumes that work together fail together.
Hey, friendship is magic. Come on.
And then once those are tight, what we'll do on the next episode is we'll retry this whole thing. Maybe I'll go ahead and bring hooks as well as these.
I probably hooks. These are actually not a bad thing because we can eventually close them if we wanted to. You can always leave them like that, but
yeah, I was thinking that, and that's what I like about them. At the same time, since we're gonna end up, since we have to use gravity for everything, gravity's gonna keep them on.
good point.
If they're not bumping each other, they're not.
Yeah,
That's
if you
that
use the
just
hooks, you have
sounds
to make
wrong.
sure the hook faces towards the sky whenever it's actually
We
right
need
side
for our
up.
pieces to not be bumping each other. So,
Bumpity bump.
so we'll try that. So we'll retry this whole thing next time with all 6 of the legs already attached, no epoxy going on, and once we get it assembled, we'll flip it over to do the actual testing and let gravity help us with that, and not bother trying to test it like this because that just ain't gonna work.
Nope.
In fact, we might run the hooks so that when we flip it over, we pop them into place.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was about to saying a second ago.
Here's another thing that I thought of early on, and we kind of briefly mentioned, but I want to circle back to, is that there's a lot of play in these, even when they're tightened up.
Okay.
When I'm not puppeting this with my legs, I want it to not go somewhere and fall over by itself. So what I also would like to do is...
Wait. Why don't we put a stabler, a spring right here?
A spring?
Attach to right here and there. That way it holds that direction. And it would hold it down. And it would keep it from, it would basically...
Hold it down this way, but it's going to be flipped over for the actual thing.
Good point.
Now, I like where you're going, but what I want to do, what I think I'm going to do is put a couple of these little screw eyes on the side of the leg. See, you guys can't see because I'm going to use this side. Let's pretend that this side was my side. We'll put like 2 of them along the leg, and then 1 of them on the side of the actual structure, or maybe 2 on the side of the structure. Because they'll line up, or mostly line up, then we take just a small metal rod, hooked at one end, and slide it in there when I'm not attached.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Then it keeps some stability on the front leg, which should keep enough stability on the other legs that I should be able to walk away. That also means that I can set it up with that when I'm attaching to it, and then pull those out when I'm ready to start moving.
So parking brake.
Yes, we need to install a parking brake.
Oh no.
What would a dragon ogre be if they could just roll 55? We can't even roll 55 now. We got a spare leg. To 3 spare legs.
Look, it's staying by itself. Shh. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we've got a plan for next time. It's in 2 weeks from tonight, just before Halloween. You can see where we actually get further on this. By the end of the season, we will be walking in it. I'm not entirely sure about finishing the tail by then, but we're going to be walking in it. It's going to be working. I think we're on to something here, and I think we know what we're doing now that we have experimented. And when you're out there working on your own thing, feel free to try it out and experiment, and don't worry about totally screwing up. Yeah. Because even though it looks like we've totally screwed up, we have a plan of action, and I think we're not that far off from being exactly where we want to be and going forward. And we have learned some things. We've learned that epoxy just sucks. And we've learned that
gravity is a law.
Yes, gravity is a thing that we probably want to work with instead of against. And we just don't need the lazy system. We over-engineered and planned out See, that's what that much planning does. It's just over planned.
Well, you
but
can
we
use
got-
the Lazy Susans to make turntables for the top of this thing.
That's
have it
right.
totally
It'll
blinged
be a
out.
dragon ogre with like spice racks on its. It'll be spicy. All right,
Spicy.
so that's going to be it for our show this time around. Definitely check us back out in 2 weeks. Always come back for Kaiju Media Labs. Variety of shows here online, on air, and we are Combat Creations. Continue
Continue to
crafting.
crafting.